Good morning. Welcome to morning yoga. It is Wednesday the 17th. That sounds right. Yes. 8. It's 8 day. 15. Anyway, yesterday was the third quarter moon. So we talked about how the new moon is, you could think of it like the winter energy. We have the first quarter, which is more spring, and then the full moon, more summer. So here we are in the third quarter, and you could think of this energy more like autumn, like fall. It could be about reaping what you've sown. And it's also a time we start coming more internal, setting ourselves up for the new moon coming up next week, which will be very internal energy. I've read that the archetype associated with the third quarter moon is sometimes called the wild woman, which I really love. So with that in mind, we're going to kind of move maybe a little more freely today. We're going to start standing, kind of get into the hips a little bit. So if you'll meet me there, standing. And so Monday, we actually released some energy into the earth, the things that we no longer needed. And today we're going to pull some energy up from the earth if you want. So to do this, my feet are a little wider than hip width, and I like to turn my toes out just a bit. And bringing fingertips either together or bringing right hand on top of the left is an option with the arms in front of you. So a little bend in the knees. And then on an inhale, we're going to lift the hands up just to the space below the belly button and release it down. So we're back in this energy of the second energy center, the second chakra. And so the visualization with this, as you inhale and lift the hands and start to straighten the legs, you might feel energy coming up through the heels and into the second energy center. And then as we exhale, you might feel it's either becoming stronger or maybe you like to feel the energy coming up and down. So setting up, eyes might close or gaze relaxes down since we're standing. Hands either fingertips together or one hand on top of the other. And then first start by feeling your connection to the earth with your feet. And maybe allowing that focus to be more toward the heels this morning. And if you like to visualize, you might visualize energy coming out of the heels and into the earth. Maybe creating some roots that spread out and create a really stable, sturdy base. And then through these roots, maybe you might visualize things that nurture you coming into these roots. And this is the type of energy that we want to bring into that second chakra. So when you're ready, thinking about that energy coming up from the earth on an inhale, straighten the legs and lift palms up toward the second chakra. Exhale, bend the knees and bring arms down. So inhale, lifting this energy up to the second chakra. And exhale, maybe letting it go, or visualize it getting it stronger. Inhale, lift. And exhale, release. So this nurturing energy coming up from the earth. Filling the space of our abdomen. You could think of it like the womb space, if that's comfortable for you. Our center of creativity, of joy, pleasure. A few more rounds here. And then the next time you inhale, lifting the energy up and straighten the legs, bring your palms to your abdomen, the space below your belly button. And pause just for a moment and sense what's happening in the space. Just feeling any sort of sensation or not, but just noticing what's happening, bringing more attention and awareness. And when you're ready, you're drawing hands and your awareness up to your heart space. So your hands, you might again place one hand on the heart, the other hand on top of that hand. You might think about some of that nurturing energy coming up from the second chakra up into your heart. Connecting these two spaces. And then allowing an intention to come from your heart space this morning. With this connection to our creativity center. Maybe a little more creative. Let's seal this all in with a cleansing breath. Take a deep inhale through your nose. And let it out of your mouth. Eyes are closed, letting them flutter open here. Bringing hands to your hips. And lifting your right heel up off of the floor. And start to find some circles here by lifting your right hip up and circling it around. So we might circle to the back to start. Just moving in some way that feels good to you this morning. Getting into the hip. And then if you've been going one way, switch directions. We're here just for a couple of rounds. Warming up this right side. And when it feels right to you, just switch sides, lowering your right heel, left heel lifts, and start to find the circles on the left. So you may notice that one side is a little easier to circle than the other. No judgments, just noticing. For me, it's the direction. When you're ready to switch. Going to the front is fear-free. Just noticing that, if that's true for you too. A couple more breaths. And lowering the heel. Bring hands down by your side. So stance is wide, knees are pointed out over the toes. On an inhale, bring fingertips together above your head. Exhale, it's a little squat through center. Then we release hands down. So press into heels, inhale, arms up. And exhale through center. 3 more just like this. Inhale, lift. And exhale through center. Inhale, lift. Through center. One more inhale, arms up. Exhale through center, this time bringing your hands to your thighs. On an inhale, round through the spinal turns you can see. Exhale, let it go into the cow. This breath is a little opposite of what we do on the ground. Inhale into cat. And exhale into cow. So just finding spinal flexion and extension. Two more. Inhale into the round. Exhale into the arch. Inhale into the round. And on this exhale, round forward and let it go into a forward fold. So hands might find the earth. Knees are bent pretty deep here. If you want to start straightening them, you could. If you want to start moving, rocking side to side, that's an option. Here, just for a couple of breaths. If your head feels, or your neck feels kind of tight, give your head a shake, yes and no, release. See where you can kind of let go into this movement, into this shape. And then we'll start to bend the left knee a little deeper. Bring left fingertips to the ground. Start to straighten the right leg, and we twist right fingertips reaching up toward the ceiling. So this is our booty tooth stretch, but just with a wider stance. Then we can take this top arm and reach it overhead and see if you can feel some more length in the side body. Gaze is where it's comfortable. For me, it feels better to look down. And we'll bend both knees, bring the body through center. And then start to bend your right knee a little deeper. And left fingertips reach up toward the ceiling. Just switching sides. And again, gaze is where it's comfortable. And if you wanted to, bring the top arm overhead and maybe feel a little more length through your side body. 2 more breaths. And bend both knees and bring the body through center, hands find the ground. From here, lift or straighten the legs a bit and bring your toes to face the front if they were turned out to the side. The knees are bent. I'm going to turn so you can see we take a little deeper bend in the knees, and then from this shape, lunge your right leg back. So hands are on the inside of your left foot. And we can stay here in the lunge. We could lower the back knee, that's an option. Or if you want to move with me and start to circle through the hips, this is an option as well. Wherever you are, make sure you're breathing. And that your breathing is nice and smooth, stable. And then from this shape, if your knee is down, go ahead and tuck your toes and lift your knee. We're lifting hips high, so we have some space to step the left foot back into downward facing dog. So we can start to move here in downward dog, pedaling heels or hanging out. And then from here, lowering down to a wide knee tabletop. So taking knees wide, from here, bringing big toes together and sit back onto your heels for a child's pose. So maybe your fingertips reach long toward the front wall, maybe your forehead finds the mat. Thinking here about sit bones heading toward one wall, and that swirly part of the crown of your head lifting toward another, so long spine. From this shape, start to walk your upper body tall. So we're sitting back on the heels. Now, if this bothers the knees at all, an option is to come back into the tabletop. But if you're here sitting on your heels, bringing your right fingertips back behind you. Left fingertips reach up toward the ceiling. So this might be where you stay. You have the option, though, of lifting the hips and finding what, I don't know the technical name, we'll call it flash dance this morning. That's what it makes me think of. And then we'll lower the hips. So if you were in tabletop, instead, if this was more comfortable, come into a twist. Bring your right fingertips toward the ceiling. You're ready to switch sides. If you're sitting back on the heels, it's your left fingertips that come back. If you're in tabletop, twist open the opposite side. Maybe hips lift. 3. If your hips are lifted, lower them here. We'll all meet in tabletop. Go ahead and tuck your toes and press back to your downward facing dog. 3. Lift your heels and begin to walk your feet toward your hands. So per usual, taking any sort of bend in the knees that you need. So we'll meet in the forward fold. Now our feet are more hip width than wide, like we started. Inhale, lengthen, touch your legs somewhere along spine. Exhale, fold. Standing on your inhale, arms above your head. And bring your hands to heart center. And take a breath. Pause to check in what's happening in your body. Maybe some heat, some new sensations. Now when you're ready, stepping feet wide again, turning toes out. Coming back to the sun breath. Inhale, arms above your head. I'm going to turn so you can see this time on the exhale, maybe you squat deeper and bring fingertips to the ground, just an option. Inhale, arms up. Exhale through center. 3 more. 2. 1 more, inhale, arms up. This exhale, bring your hands to the mat. And then start to straighten the legs and bring your toes to face the front wall. So our feet are still pretty wide. From this shape, bend the knees once again, hands on the floor, and lunge your left leg back. So we're back here in the lunge. With the option to stay with the knee lifted or lower your back knee, or again, following me and coming into some movement, some circles through the hip. And then 2 more breaths. If your knee is down, go ahead and tuck your toes and lift your knee. We'll meet in downward dog by lifting the hips and stepping your right leg back. Breathe. On an inhale, lower down into your wide made tabletop. Exhale, child's pose, and rest for a breath. So from here, either pressing up into your tabletop or walking your hands back so you're sitting on your heels. If you're coming into the lift, the right hand comes behind, the left fingertips reach to ceiling, and maybe you press hips up. If you're in tabletop, maybe you're in a twist. The switch sides, lowering your heel, or your hips, to your heels. Left fingertips behind, right fingertips reach and lift the hips maybe. Morning hip flexors, your morning quads. Lowering hips when ready, we'll all meet in tabletop. And then tucking toes in downward facing dog. Take a breath. Lift the heels and walk the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms above your head. And then bring your hands to heart center. A little faster with the breath. Step your feet wide, toes turned out. Inhale, arms above your head. Exhale through the center and touch the floor. Right leg lunges back, pause, take a breath. And then press to your downward facing dog. Inhale, wide knee tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale back to tabletop or lift your body. Exhale, right hand comes behind. Inhale, hips, lift hips. Exhale, lower hips, switch sides. Left hand behind, inhale, lift hips. Exhale, lower. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, down dog. A breath. Inhale, lift heels. Exhale, walk to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms above your head. And bring your hands to heart center. Step feet wide, take a breath. Inhale, arms up. Exhale through center, touch the floor. Left leg lunges back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, wide knee tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, tabletop or walk your hands back. Exhale, set up with right hand behind. Inhale, hips lift. Exhale, lower. Switch sides. Next inhale, hips lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, down dog. A breath. Inhale, lift heels. Exhale, walk to the top of your mat. Once you find your forward fold, step your right leg back and take a quarter turn so your wide leg on your mat. Toes pointing toward the corners of your mat. Start to bend through the right knee. With your right knee tracking second and third toe, hips sitting back. Switch sides, we'll straighten up through the center and bend your left knee. Left knee tracking second and third toe on your left foot. Take a breath. And begin to transition between the sides. So you might inhale up through center and exhale, bend one knee. You might hang out on one side. What I like to do, I mentioned this before, is just to let the upper body go. Maybe let hands and head or hair sweep the floor. Just exploring some movement here in the frontal plane and getting to this midline of the body. One more breath. Once sides are even for you, start to straighten through the legs and bring toes more forward. Walk your upper body long and bring right hand in front of the face. The twist here, left fingertips reaching up toward the ceiling. This is a great place for a prop underneath the right hand. And then we'll switch sides. So now left hand a little bit more in front of the face. We twist open right fingertips towards ceiling. Both hands coming down. Walk your hands back toward your body. Start to heel toe your feet closer to hip width. And then we'll begin to walk up to standing, rolling through the spine. If you find yourself standing, bringing hands together, pressing thumbs into your heart space, check in for a moment. And allow yourself some gratitude. Another aspect of the third quarter moon is just like fall. We're thankful for the harvest. Feel grateful for yourself, for getting up, for doing this for you. It's a moment of gratitude for the teachers who have come before us and shared these practices, these tools. And always grateful for those on the front lines of this pandemic. And letting your gratitude spread wherever you want it to this morning. If you want to join me, we'll let that gratitude extend through the fingers, reaching up, some spirit fingers. Thank you guys very much. I will see you on Friday. Namaste.